From Palmer Field in Austin, Texas, we welcome you to MLS Next Pro Western Conference action, and we have got a good one. It is number 2 and number 3 in the conference table, respectively, and we get set to go here from St. David's Performance Center on a 75-degree day. Along with the rest of our team, I'm Drew Casey, delighted to have this one here with you tonight. This is the first of 3 meetings between these teams, and the next 2 coming up after tonight, well, they could mean a lot for the table as we look way ahead to the postseason. But first, let's take a timeout. We'll get to the lineups right after these messages.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Palmer Field awaits as we get ready for number 2 and number 3 in the Western Conference standings. St. Louis City 2, 6-1-3. Austin FC 2 is 5-1-3. Let's go to the starting 11, starting with the home side. Austin FC 2, 19 points on the year, and you've got Lauta in between the sticks, back line that looks relatively consistent for Jason Shackle's crew, 4-3-3. Now, have to point out, Austin did play earlier this week, 3rd match over the course of what is 8 days, last Sunday, Wednesday, and this Sunday as well. But Austin is in fantastic form, winners of its last 3. Certainly, look for Feliciano up at that left wing position. He has had a big-time season when he has been out there, but also Alice Tway, he's the leading scorer on that right side in the midfield positioning with 5 goals. So we'll see what Austin has in store when we get things rolling in just a moment. Other side, St. Louis City 2 making the trip. Shorter bench, only going to be 5 available players, but in chatting with David Critchley earlier this week, the 3-5-2 that we will see very, very high on Palmer Alt on top of that formation up top with Barkley, and it's a deep, deep team, and no surprise that they are inside the top 3 in the Western Conference table after what has just been a really remarkable run throughout their MLS Next Pro history, and looking to keep that rolling here in 2026. Off to a good start, 6-1-3, but did lose their first match of the season last time out. That was to Houston Dynamo Dos, a 4-1, coming up short after scoring the game's opening goal at home. So that's what we've got as both teams get set to go, and Palmer Field awaits for this one between these two. We told you these teams will do it again twice more, and both will be in St. Louis later in the year, one in about a month's time, and then on decision day, and that could really mean just a ton when you think about where these teams are now, where they could still be. It could mean home field advantage for multiple rounds, but again, we have to stop ourselves because it is only May the 17th. Once again, appreciate you joining us for MLS Next Pro here tonight. I'm Drew Casey, the rest of our fantastic team on MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball, wherever you may be. We thank you very much for spending part of your Sunday with us. In terms of the top of the league in the production department, St. Louis has scored 21 goals. That is tied for the 5th highest total. At Austin FC2, right around the league average, is at 14 goals scored. Both teams with exceptional back lines and exceptional goal differentials as a result. It's St. Louis City 2 with a +9, and it is Austin FC 2 with a +7. That is tied for 6th. And away we go on this Sunday evening. Austin FC 2 in the dark kits, and it is St. Louis City 2 in the whites to get things going here in this Western Conference matchup of Titans just underway. Early whistle from our referee, Edson Carvajal, will place this one for the restart. And we will go once again. 3-5-2 for St. Louis City 2, Austin FC 2 in a 4-3-3. Austin looking to get on the board here early, just in the first minute of competition. On the front foot on the attack. Centrally slotted. Second ball a little too strong, though. That's going to go out over the end line for an opening goal kick for the St. Louis goalkeeper. Colin Welsh today at Overland Park, Kansas. Western Michigan his time prior. Now with St. Louis City 2. Working off the back line, that is oh so typical these days. David Critchley, the manager of this St. Louis City 2 team, sees his team give it away here. Early opportunity pass, though, back heel. If it was more centrally located, it would have been a dangerous early opportunity for Austin FC 2. My goodness, Micah Burton was just waiting. Unable, though, to connect with it. Swung in, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Looking for the connection at that near post. So we're in just the third minute, and for the most part, Austin FC 2 has had a bit of the possession to get things rolling. No surprise there. This one direct well over the top off the restart on the goal kick. Sun's starting to set. Get cooler as we go. Big reason, of course, why this game kicking at 7:30 here locally. Want to avoid that heat as much as possible. St. Louis coming down yesterday. They'll head back tomorrow. And they hope they are heading back with 3 big points. A couple of Frontier Division clubs matching up on this Sunday. Both teams really have been fantastic form. St. Louis 3-0-1 away from home. Austin, winners of 3 straight, unbeaten in 8. They've only played 9. Minnesota got opening day, the only decision going against Austin. And St. Louis City 2 could say the same through their first 9, but matchup number 10 last week against Houston Dynamo Dos. That was loss number 1 against, scored the opening goal. Houston equalized. And then it was 3 goals after that. Long ball and tracked down by the goalkeeper for St. Louis City 2. Again, it's Colin Welsh today, making his 4th start of this next pro season. 7 saves, does have a clean sheet, and he's perfect. 3-0-0 in the individual record. Getting a stretch of 4 out of 5 on the road for CITY2. 6 of the first 10 coming at home at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. The visiting club now with an opportunity off the left side of the attack. Sidney Paris a touch, and will cycle it on back, working through McDonald. It was a Western Conference regular season title a year ago for St. Louis CITY2. Here's Austin FC 2, though, firing and scoring long range from outside the top of the 18, and the cartwheel times 2 puts Austin FC 2 up 1-0 in the 6th minute. Now, there wasn't a ton there. Coast to coast, though, and a rip from outside the top of the box. Great control, beats the first man, cuts it in, and just enough space, using those 3 controlling defenders. Almost as a screen for the keeper, and Colin Welsh could not come up with it. And then the celebration to boot. So that's a start for the home side. 1-0 Austin. We told you in the open, Eric Feliciano, when he's been out there, he's made a big impact. And he makes one heard right away early on. 6-minute strike from Eric Feliciano opens this one up. And Austin FC2 has been just so dynamic across the back line. They have not conceded this month. 3 matches in, 3 clean sheets. They've scored in each, so 3 consecutive 3-point performances. Still, of course, nearly 85 minutes to go. But the mind can wander for the supporters of the home side. Lou CITY2 looking for the equalizer. Very early and set high and wide. Good effort. Similar type distance to the goal we saw from Feliciano just moments ago. But nothing doing. Another look here, again, similar transitional area right outside that arc. And a big-time challenge from the goalkeeper, Eric Lauta, coming out. But wouldn't have been able to do much if that was on frame towards a corner. Just missing off the mark. Combination play centrally. Front foot alt. Cuts it back inside. Punched away, Lauta. That time he had to be excellent, and he was. Will be a corner for St. Louis CITY2, though. So you see this one. The second touch and then the turn and the fire. But Lauta up for the task. Hear that wind, it could play a role. How about that corner just absolutely sailed. We should have mentioned that top of the show. Along with the temperatures in the 70s, winds could gust in excess of 20 miles per hour, that is. And that could really play a role on balls in the air. You can hear it throughout the facility here at Palmer Field. See those 2 flags of course, the United States as well as the state of Texas whipping in the wind as we move from left to right. Again, if you're just joining us, it's St. Louis in the white-based unis. Austin with the opening goal from Feliciano in the 6th minute. In the darker kits. as is traditional. Black base, the Verde stripes. Touch forward to Gans before the combination results in the direct over the top. On the longer goal kicks, the wind that whips does not appear that it's been an issue, but the more set-piece driven type, I have to venture that's going to be more difficult than usual. Austin FC looking for another cross all the way through. It stays innocent enough to slot through everybody. Alice Stway creating some havoc. Looking for the recycle. Second ball, hand-to-hand combat along the byline, and it'll be a corner. So good work. There wasn't much there. But Austin able to make something of it. Hell of a corner. Let's go back to the last chance first, though. Grosstedt got all the way through. And this is the captain. Team's leading scorer with 5 goals. He's looking to help out there. Would have been his first assist. So the Austin corner from the high side as the sun continues to set on a nice Texas night. 12th minute corner through. A little strong. And from high to low as you watch, the wind in intensity pushing that direction. 2 have sailed corners from the high side of the turf here at Parmer. Another element, part of the development process. Got to learn to play in the conditions, and many will tell you much rather play in the rain, maybe even the snow. Certainly the rain. Talked to many analysts, though, over the years. Is the flag going to come up here? Well, there's no clear look for it. It might have stayed down. But just to conclude that point, rather play in the rain than the wind. Almost everyone will say it because you can't control it necessarily. And when you're trying to track a ball, tracking the flight in the wind can be difficult. It is difficult. And we'll likely continue to hear that whip throughout the night. It's not expected to die down. Remain constant. Heck, might even increase a little bit. Sydney Paris along the near touchline. He gets by Micah Burton. The intercept and coming through again is the crafty Austin FC Irvin Torres. Like his game. First team loanee, just 18 years old. Out of Laredo. The great thing about Next Pro, you've got various ages, of course, running the gamut, but also different stages of career as well. Contracted players exclusively to Next Pro, academy players coming up, and first team players getting action as well. All creates the balance. Weekly basis, the lineup tends to change. We know that by now. Burton plays it all the way back. And Baru recycles it back the same direction. Switch comes from Evan Watt. 22-year-old from Pennsylvania. And the flag is up here. An innocent offside. There wasn't much developing. A couple of passes ahead. Playing chess, but that does not catch the assistant referee. Eric Aplis, Blanca Viviana Diaz-Rodriguez, the 2 assistant referees today. Told you Edson Carvajal's our lead referee, and Reyes Vargas is the 4th official. Into the 15th minute. We'll see if we get a whistle here. We are both from the referee as well as the AR. Flag going up. And this will be a set-piece opportunity, dangerous for St. Louis. Chance to equalize. But again, that wind. Perhaps more of those driven balls. Don't always necessarily see that from these types of positions. And we've played a nearly full quarter hour. Home side on the board first with Feliciano. Really gusting here. Set piece. Caught and secured. Keeps the body in play on the turf. Nice work by Eric Lauta. This portion of the match tonight is brought to you by O'Reilly, official auto parts partner of Austin FC2. Appreciate you hanging with us alongside the rest of our team. I'm Drew Casey. MLS Next Pro, 2-3 in the Western Conference table. St. Louis City 2 on 23 points. Austin FC 2 is on 19, so there can be no movement. But it's a logjam at the 19 mark in second position if you look at the table entering action today. Went live now, you'd see Austin FC 2 in solo third. But so much more to go. We're just in mid to late May. Try the right side on the recycle for Austin. Daniel Chisla, the right back before the switch. He might be on its way back to him. Evan Watt thinking that way. Right orange cleats for Evan Watt. Can't miss him. Ten games, 10 starts for Watt. Big piece of what this side has been able to do this year. Along with Barry, asked Mason Shackle about those two together, that partnership. And extremely complimentary and extremely important to the success that this team has had. Doesn't happen by accident. And not conceded all month long. String of 8 consecutive results after falling in the opener 4-2 to Minnesota. This Austin since the opener have only allowed 4 additional goals. They would love to take a 2-goal advantage, thinking about the rush, but then opting to slow it up. It was Alistue. Captain has 5 goals on the year. Running through him again, as is oh so typical. Point of confrontation. He goes down. We're going to whistle. Nice win. And now it's Austin's turn in a set piece in a quite dangerous area just outside the box. It is wide side, though. We tick into the 19th minute. When you've got a 3-match week or a 3-match in 8 days stretch, the training load changes. It's something that typically, regardless of how frequent you're matching up against another side, that stays constant. Set piece opportunities. Highly critical moments. Appears that it will be Alistue. Has the hand raised. And the approach. Left-footed strike. And it's in! It trickles in. Diving effort. But it could not be secured by Welsh. And Austin FC2 has 2. The goal in the 19th minute. It's 2-0. Let's take another look. The strike And I thought initially that Welsh maybe got a piece of it, but it was just too brilliant. Ben's inside that near post. And Austin is in control. So 1 goal in the run of play with Feliciano in the 6th. That Alice Dway on the set piece just moments ago. And notice, I don't think the wind would have had a roll anyway. Kept it low. That did not become an effort. Or an effect, I should say. And now St. Louis really on its heels. In chatting with the manager, David Critchley, earlier this week, really one of the first large moments of adversity. Coming off conceding 4 times to Houston the last time out. Hold that thought for a moment. Austin's looking for 3, but it's launched just a little bit high. Good closing speed defensively. But Dunshutsu nearly made it. 3-zip. Transitional moment. It's a great ball through. The cover is there. And the aggressive goalkeeping from Welsh forced the outside touch. And that cutting of the angle, if you will, maybe just enough to make that just more difficult to keep it out. Paris along. Really have not penetrated St. Louis except for that set piece. Bit of a corner too, but it sailed. Whistle will sound here, pushing the back. Back to the point, though, I was making prior to that rush on the other side. Manager David Critchley for St. Louis saying, one of our biggest moments of adversity so far this year, certainly the matchup with Houston last time out. How will we respond? How will the side respond? And I followed up and asked, is it good to have such a high-quality opponent next on the schedule? Houston is first on the table. Austin is 3rd in points, tied for 3rd. And his answer, absolutely. You want to respond as quickly as possible. Brief stoppage here. And we will resume play. So 2 early goals for the home side. Coming inside the first 20. Feliciano, Alice Dway. Now an opportunity for more. Appears to be Alice Dway again. Shots at 5-3 up on the big board. Sent it. Second ball of sorts, short corner. Up to the task is Welsh this time. He's been tested. The way this one's developing, looks like he will continue to be. Likely needs to keep this on 2. Harris again. Been a nice asset. Out of Canada. Previous club played collegiately in the ACC at Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Chipped out wide for that Demon Deacon. Looking for the byline. He has it. Cross through. Headed away immediately. Bright orange boots. Easy to spot. And Evan Watt. Just so composed down the back line for Austin. You can tell stylistically sometimes those central passes through the box with some heat on. Confidence can show, and You really notice it when there isn't that confidence because it looks jittery. Everyone feels it. Not the case, at least tonight so far with Austin. A side that is, again, unbeaten in 8, 3-0-2 in the last 5. CITY2, 2-1-2 in the last 5. The only loss the last time out to Dynamo Dos. For the takeaway, Micah Burton had an initial head of steam, but not much there. He's back to his right side spot. Good stint of possession here for St. Louis. This is Paris again. Tries to get by 2. Ball's loose. A broken play. Visiting side, though, will take anything. Trying to cut this in half to Gans's ball. Set back out where it came from. Another try, that'll be corner. So good work for St. Louis. Stick-to-itiveness, trying to cut this to 2-1. Only other corner for St. Louis was off the opposite side, and it really sailed. So a bit into the wind here if it's elevated. Which it is. Good ball. Front post. Trying to go back to the taker. And then the rip is well high. A little extra there. This portion of the match is brought to you by SHI, official partner of Austin FC2. Appreciate you being with us for this MLS Next Pro Western Conference matchup. 2 and 3 in the league table. Very active off this near touchline. Paris had one, has another. This one is intercepted. Bauru had the take, but given back. CITY2 will use the right side here. The highest scoring teams in the league. 30 teams now in MLS Next Pro. Header defensively well wide. A lot of pace on that send. And not a whole lot that Bauru could do. Likely would have preferred to do better with it. CITY2, 21 goals. Tied for 5th of the 30 clubs entering this match week. 11, by the way, there, match week 11. Some instructions first from Edson Carvajal before corner number 3 for St. Louis. 28th minute, driven ball. Nice adjustment made. Some may say miss hit, but the wind playing a role from top to bottom as you watch with us. Again, we've said his name a bunch. Paris across the way. Left-footed service, too much. And again, you see it just sailing. At least in part, due to the conditions. And as a visiting club, makes it a bit more difficult. Home side, perhaps a bit more used to it. Training environment from time to time. Definitely has been more of a sense of urgency from St. Louis since conceding the second goal. more possession in the attacking half and attacking third. Listen to those gusts. Paris. Cross through, another corner. This will be number 4 for St. Louis. Hold on to your hats. Palmer gusts on this Sunday night. Corner is through and nicely snagged by the home side's keeper. Lauta has been strong in this one. 3 clean sheets in what is now 6 appearances. This number 7, 6 complete appearances. 3 out of 6, 50% clean sheet rate. That'll make most managers sleep easy at night. Nearly a physical challenge along the near touchline. This really has not been, at least not yet, and certainly easier for me to say, not been a highly physical game. Much more technical, transitional moments. Whistle's blown a few times, but not a ton. And was interested just how that might play out. Austin near the top of the league in those cards accumulated. St. Louis, the very opposite end of the spectrum. Bottom 5 in a good way in the card count. Dangerously. Colin Welsh was harassed. That challenge making life more difficult, but now losing the defender. Burton, the initial pest there. "20 years old for the Minnesota native, first-team contracted player. It's been a nice shift so far through a little more than a half hour. Again, goes from Feliciano and Alistway, the story for Austin here at home. Looking to keep the good times rolling. Cut inside. Wagner is blocked. Like to have perhaps elevated a bit more. But a good look for Jack. And did an out again, waiting for what should be a throw. Again, from low to high as we watch. Touchline to touchline. Into the wind. From high to low. Or with the wind. Which in some sports, if you tee it up, might be of high value, but makes things difficult here. That's a clear challenge. See if we're going to see a pocket. No. It will be a very dangerous set-piece opportunity. Second time St. Louis has been in essentially the same spot for this. The distance counted off by Carvajal, the official in bright yellow. St. Louis and the visiting White Kits looking to cut the deficit in half here. No deception. Chipped in. Looking for a knock-in, send wide. Goal kick coming. You see the chip. Is there a connection? Yes, there is. A deft touch. And nice work. It was Barkley who got a touch. I've not called his name much in this one. 5 goal contributions on the next pro season. 3 goals, 2 assists up front for St. Louis City 2. Alongside all 2 has been quiet as well. Big reason why the back line of the home side, of course. Watt and Berry in the middle. Chishlo wide right. And Kaeli high left across the back line. Might be tested here. But there's Watt. Oranges it away. Donald. Nice individual ability to control that. But Austin wins it back quickly. This will draw a whistle and perhaps our first booking. And yes, ruled to be transitional enough with open waters ahead. So that is going to send Jack Wagner into the book, it appears. Yeah, and he had fully cleared by the time the contacts brought the player down. Yellow card every time. And again, confirmed for Wagner. And that's number 4. The accumulation grows towards a number that you'd rather not be near. Sent wide. Using the spaces. Left foot. And high and wide. Alistway had a run at it. Just off balance. This portion of the match is brought to you by CITY, official partner of Austin FC2. It's the 37th minute of action. And it has been all Austin. St. Louis, though, again, since the second goal, they've had some opportunities. They continue to win corners. Number 6 coming up here. And Barkley was close the last time. Set piece, though, from the same side of the field. He's right in the thick of it. Top of the 6 just was bumped, and that's going to lead us to a conversation led by Itson Carvajal. We said the winds could pick up. I think they have, just by judging by those flag poles. Quite literally, the poles are whipping in the wind. This whipped in. Caught a St. Louis man first. And back to goal. Alt chips out. Paris. Barkley, nothing there, has to go backwards. And McDonald on the switch, and that's going into the wind. You can see even from the reaction of McDonald, when he sent it, he thought he overcooked it. Then it barely even got there. I have to like what you've seen if you're Jason Shackle. Maybe too many corners conceded. But they've defended them quite well. Again, Paris. Have a rip here. He's got a little space. Paris. Taken down. Play continues. Clean win. Clean tackle. But the outlet pass. Too much bounce. Off the turf and out. And right on back to Sidney Paris. Gonna get whistled here. They're gonna come on back. Not ready yet. Burton gets a conversation. No booking. He's been pesky a few times, though. 2 hands in the back, and perhaps a break for Burton not to be put into the book. Not appear to be a play at the ball. Fortunate that it was just a standing position and no movement going from Paris there. Otherwise, clear yellow, one would suspect. Foul here. Caught a leg, and this might be a yellow. It is. The ball's gone. And Marion rather. Easy yellow. There was never clear control, but easy yellow card. So we've seen Marion into the book now. '40th minute. 2 goals on the earlier side, both for Austin, of course. Looking for 3 as we tick towards the break. Half turn from Chisla. Speaking of the halftime break, hope you'll stay with us. We learn more about the league's biggest and brightest stars. This should be a card as well. Push from behind. Preserving that ink in the pen. It's been active now. Beaten, and then the D-cell. And St. Louis did not have the numbers. But it turns into the yellow. And it's Feliciano. Opening goal scorer back inside the first 10 minutes. 6th minute for Feliciano. Run of play. Outside the top of the box, a ripper. Alistway off a set piece. Bunch of traffic, also from outside the box, of course. It was in the 19th. So it's been 2-0 now. For nearly 25 minutes, that is. Again, continue to see it. The ball comes from top to bottom, high to low, however you want to call it. It's just moving. More velocity, more distance. It's tough to handle. You almost seems like you're watching a video on 1 1/4 speed when it's coming from high to low. And that is, I trust and tell you that that's not the case. Just the impact of those conditions you hear. This is St. Louis possession. Both teams trying to get tricky there. DeGans further on back now for Pearson. First time I mentioned Charlie Pearson. Settled control. Got past one line. Getting lost between the legs, but still alive. Nice work. Barkley with a nice stretch to keep this alive. And it will result in another corner. Number 7 coming up here. Can St. Louis grab one for the locker room? That goes short here, a lot of space. Corner's through. And redirected out of the immediate danger area, but not all the way out yet. Dropped cross. A nice coverage of line by Austin. Plenty of numbers back. We'll see that. Torres slowed it up. Another corner. Make it to 10 corners in the half for St. Louis. Should not come as a surprise. Second most corners in the league. Right around 7 per match. They're at, actually they've now surpassed that. Just a few minutes left before halftime. Into the 45th. Driven in, lots of pace. Unable to be kept. Busy weekend, of course, across the league. Tell you more about some of that coming up in the second half. Long wait here on the restart for the goal kick coming. Two minutes of stoppage time, +2 up there. Strong half for Austin. Would love to cap it. Pass behind, little miscommunication. Burton was ahead. Alice away. Saw the late joiner in Chisla, but just off the mark. See some winded legs a bit. Word choice intended. Wagner helps jumpstart that swap across the way. Goes that direction again. Nice heel touch. Breaks a line for St. Louis. But unable to keep. Nice defensive work from Austin. It continues. Right around a minute remaining on what will be the 7th consecutive half without conceding for Austin. Previous 3 matches, all clean sheets. And there has not been any 0-0 in there either. Paris has had a nice first half. St. Louis has gotten more into a rhythm of what they want to do possession-wise. And again, the corners, nearly 10 of them. It's going to be a foul here. So we're running down this first half. And in fact, that is the end of the first half. So Austin with 2 early goals. So Austin will take the 2-0 advantage into the locker room. Early goals. Feliciano got it started. And then it was capped by Alisway midway through. Coming up in our halftime show, we get to know a talented young player carving his own path in the Big Apple. And an announcement that will shift the landscape of Next Pro. Highlights and stats after this brief timeout.
Can rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next. Just wanna know what's
fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
We welcome back here at halftime. Western Conference action in MLS Next Pro. It's Austin 2, St. Louis nil. Around the league, there is no shortage of success stories in MLS coming out of the New York market. Another solid young player making his way with NYCFC. Let's get to know Arnau Farnas.
I think for sure was my mom. She was the first one to know it because she was working, and I sent her a message and I was like, please don't call because we have a meeting right now. But like I have to tell you, like they just told me like they want me to sign first team deal. So she was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was definitely my mom. Hi, I'm Arnau Farnas, and I'm a midfielder / winger, and I play for New York City FC. When I signed here with the second team, my goal was always to be part of the first team, and since the moment I got drafted, that was my goal, that was my dream. And nothing is easy, you know, so that's why you have to work for it. Every call-up is an opportunity. And I'm thankful for the coaches to give me those opportunities. But like, it's not about the games, it's about every day, how you practice, how you prepare yourself, physically and mentally. And when the opportunity comes, that you have to be ready and know that if you have the opportunity, you have to prove yourself. They push you a lot, which is a really good sign. But they also have a really good connection with the team, special connection with the players also. And they are open, which is also important for a player because it gets you confident when you play and when you train. And he was always super close, coach and all the staff, and give me a lot of confidence to me. And that's why I feel like I'm super happy for being part of this team, for the confidence from the staff and also from the players. One of the things, for example, Nico always says when he's here is like, and I've took it from all the players as well, but like, you are doing what you like and what's your passion. So coming here to practice, you are privileged, you know, having this job, because you are doing something that you really like and you really can, you grow with it. And coming here every day, yeah, there is people working for you, for the treatment, they are cooking for you, and how many people would love to have and to be in the position that you are right now. So I would say just enjoy the moment, push yourself in the moment that you have to push yourself, and yeah, enjoy. Super excited at the moment when I saw the ball going in. I kind of didn't believe it at the beginning, but after it was like a happiness feeling, you know, especially after with all my teammates, like they congratulated me at the end of the game, and everybody came to support me and saying congratulations, and it was a really happy moment and a special moment in my career. I think I had a lot of good coaches in my career. I would say probably when I was at Celta, I would say Claudio. But I would say my best moment playing soccer was the decision to make here and go to college. The 4 years at Oregon State with all the coaches I had and all the staff I had, they really helped me develop myself physically and mentally. And I think it was the step that I needed in order to be a professional soccer player. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity that the Oregon State gave me. Keep supporting us, keeping showing ourselves, keep coming to our games, because probably right now we are not having the best, we are not in the best moment of the season, but we're for sure gonna come back, and we're for sure gonna give some happy news soon to the fans.
Can't rush in like a roulette.
Very excited to be here officially. You know, I helped out a little bit last year. You know, I really enjoyed my time working with the players, working with the staff. So, you know, I'm glad to be able to be on the staff full time and be involved. Towards the end of my career, I started thinking about what, you know, I wanted to do, you know, post playing, and, you know, coaching was something that for a while I didn't know if I wanted to do it. When my kids started to get a little bit older and I started doing it with them, you know, I started enjoying it, and I thought, you know, I had a lot of knowledge that I could pass down to, you know, young players. That was kind of an easy decision after thinking about it. There's lots of different things that I can teach them from my career, but also, you know, the mentality, you know, the intensity, the winning mentality is what I want to bring to the young guys, because they're going to need that. I played at a high level college, and I was still like a little bit overwhelmed when I first got here, you know, and it's the adaptation. If you don't do it quick at that time, then you were kind of out of the system. But now I think, especially with the academy and bringing those guys up and then moving into a environment like MLS Next Pro with North Texas, then I think it's a big jump in the quality of, you know, everything that is involved with this. And I think it's huge for developing players. I think there used to be a lot of guys who kind of got pushed out of the system if it wasn't working right away, but now those guys maybe get a second chance and can develop into good players. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it feels like home. Like you said, I've been here for a long time. I know a lot of people here. You know, I knew John beforehand. I knew a lot of the other staff beforehand, and even some of the players I still know. So it's just nice to be back in, you know, a familiar environment and be able to give these players my knowledge. This year, I think my goal is to improve our defensive solidarity. Obviously, I want to try to improve individually the players in the defensive line, help them improve their tendencies. But, you know, as a unit, I want our group to be solid and to give up less goals. That's always the goal. And for me, that was like my big thing as a player throughout my career. I always wanted to give up less goals, and I think that's something I want to pass on to these defensive players.
MLS has agreed to a deal that will see global investment firm KKR make a strategic investment and partner with MLS Next Pro. KKR will inject capital into MLS Next Pro with an eye on growing the league and its footprint around the continent. In conjunction with MLS, the partnership will oversee commercial strategy as it looks to move the 27 MLS-affiliated Next Pro teams into new markets, with an eye on building brands within those communities and seeking stadium development deals. We will no doubt see and hear more about this in the coming seasons. Halftime continuing here in Austin, where it is the home side by 2-0 over St. Louis City 2. Number 3 in Austin, number 2 in St. Louis in terms of the current Western Conference table. And Austin looking to move from 4 points back to just 1 if this result holds. Let's take a look at the first 45, the highlights of this MLS Next Pro meeting. Austin and St. Louis City 2 got going early on. Plenty of action for the home side. This is the Austin FC 2 ball through. They were going from the jump, and it did not take too long until the opening goal finds the back of the net. Feliciano, just so clinical. Able to finish. That made it 1-0 inside the first 10 minutes. Other side, looking at the entire 45. That'd be the best chance for St. Louis, but there was a better strike for Austin. Coming later, made it by a mark of 2-0. The captain is 6th of the season, Jorge Alistue. And it remains 2-0. Couple of chances, more possession for St. Louis down the stretch. We'll see what's coming out in the second. We're getting ever so closer here at Palmer. 2-0 Austin. More coming up right after these messages.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
The unique energy of a Sunday night. Ideal for calm music, whispers, stargazing, reflection, and a relaxed environment. Sunday nights were made for this.
Just about set for the beginning of the second half of play. Austin FC 2, St. Louis City 2. What does St. Louis have in the second half tank in the David Critchley adjustment book, perhaps? Austin's been excellent. Can't imagine there will be too many changes in tactics or personnel from the jump, but you never know. Sometimes it can vary from match to match here in MLS Next Pro. Really appreciate you hanging with us for this one, as the second half is just about to begin. Eric Feliciano got us going in the 6th minute. Do have a couple of changes to report. On the St. Louis side, no surprise there. Emiliano Chavez checks into the game, replacing DeGans. And also coming on, Lorenzo Cornelius, replacing Barkley. John Barkley did have a couple of opportunities late in the first half, but he will not see the second. And we should note it's just a bench of 5, including a backup goalkeeper for St. Louis City 2. And that's not necessarily a huge surprise. You can sometimes see that with roadsides in MLS Next Pro. So again, Chavez as well as Cornelius on for St. Louis City 2. We'll see what Cornelius can do up top. He's likely expected to slot in up there. And then the change on the back line with Chavez coming on for DeGans, as you see it there. DeGans leaving. The Oregon Stater. How about the corner kick numbers? Just remarkable. City 2, this is number 9. This one launched in, looking for a connection. Set wide. We'll do it again, though, from the high side. So this should put St. Louis double figures. 10 corners. Looked innocent, but nearly became very dangerous with that low one through traffic, where it's cleared out by the Austin defensive unit. Shot board officially has it 5-4 St. Louis. Corners now 10-2, also in favor of St. Louis. But just one St. Louis shot on goal, 2 for Austin, both of which crossed the line. Quick pop back up. The off-field treatment rule playing its role a bit. development started young. See it World Cup coming up. An exciting time. More than halfway through May. And soon we could say it is a World Cup month. Come June. Right around the 30-day countdown. In fact, I think we're exactly at it. Actually, June 11th. For some reason, I was thinking it was June 16th for the first match day across the entire FIFA Men's World Cup coming up. Mexico and South Africa get it going. And then the 12th, the United States opens play. Cross here. Secured by the St. Louis City keeper, Colin Welsh. And Next Pro will continue during the break, by the way. And World Cup time. And then once the cup is over, then you've got college folks departing. CITY2, long range! Save made. What a rip. Riley Lynch said, here's my best. Eric Lauta said, we'll chip it over. Right back to it. Left foot. That's blocked. Feliciano contributing on the defensive end there. And it looks like Sidney Paris might have come up a little bit limp there after having that one blocked. But he's dropped on back now. And looks like he is perhaps, although that was just coverage, may have shifted out wide. Originally in the midfield to begin things. Another save, Lauta. St. Louis City, too, on the doorstep. Trying to open that door for the first time. Have to like the early energy. 6 minutes in to the second. Team that is unbeaten away from St. Louis. 3-0-1. It's going to take an exceptional effort here in the second for that to continue. Danshutsu finds an open man. Oh, what a save. Wouldn't have mattered, though. Flag was up. Still, though, you can clip it if you want. CITY2 going quickly. Cutting back. Nicely done by Lynch. Holding up. Turn, left foot. Does it trickle in? Yes, it does. St. Louis City 2. 3 golden chances. Early in the second half, they cash in on number 3. It's 2-1 as we tick into the 52nd minute. It looks broken there, but the wherewithal to just continue. Lynch drops. Left-footed strike. Bend it on in. Little magic from Ota. First goal for Ota of this next pro season. Coming through the academy. So that changes things. CITY2 trying to use a similar area of the field. And that ends the clean sheet stretch for Austin. Had not allowed a goal 7 consecutive halves. More than 300 minutes without conceding. That all washed away just moments ago from Yu Ota. Number of opportunities to set pieces. Almost got the sense that St. Louis deserved one, but it does not come off a setter. Comes in the run of play with Ota. Stopped here. Lynch is going to, I believe, be asked to the sideline. Trainer is out. Looks like a small cut that they will address. At least that's what we hope. I'll get that worked on here in the 54th minute. And looking around the nose area. I'll get that all set before a re-entry for Riley Lynch. Austin looking to answer. Led it by 2 at the break. It's now 2-1. Still in front. Burton on the turn. Nicely chested down. Edge of the area. Slide from the home side to try and keep. Recycling time. Feliciano. Cross, taken and nicely defended. Running out of real estate. Not much of another option. Lots of activity across the way. Looks like Austin getting set to make a couple of changes. The next opportunity. Did not make any subs at the break, Jason Shackle. First-year manager, long-time member of the coaching staff through the Austin FC pathway. All the way through the organization. Chatting with him earlier this week. He's learned a lot. That's part of it, too. He and his staff, they want to grow and develop along with, of course, seeing players advance their careers to the first team. And he did say he's been pleased with the performances, but he still wants more from the group. Always looking to keep pulling that out to continue that development and the success. Transitional moment, St. Louis. It's 3-on-5 for now. Chipped wide. Cross through. Player going down. Let's see. Nope. That's in Carvajal. Not even a thought. As Austin tries to exit. That one's blocked. Off the back of Evan Watt. And a stoppage here. We'll get some changes. And it looks like it will be 3 changes for Austin. Feliciano exits. The Breivich comes on. Alistway exit. Hot comes on. Both goal scorers coming off for Austin. Then Shutsu's day complete. And Saul comes on. St. Louis looking for that equalizer. Once again, Alistue, Feliciano, and Dunshutsu all out for Austin in that sequence. Ibrahim Asal coming on alongside Hott and Debrevich. Byline is taken, but the cross edge of the 6 sent away. Very similar to what St. Louis had working late in the first half, just couldn't cash it in. Flag will come up here if there is a concerted effort to chase that. But there wasn't. It was aborted by Sal, who does have one goal, by the way. Here's a head of steam. Open turf in front. But a good cross. Defensively, not going at the player, but more so at the angle. Knock it away. So the 2 changes for St. Louis at the break. Seeing Chavez and Cornelius in. And 3 changes for Austin just a short time ago. Again, Salhat and Debrevich. Martinez is the backup goalkeeper for St. Louis City 2, so that's one man on the bench that remains. Alex Junt as well. And then rounding it out is Adeteya Gabdahen. So perhaps some more changes there. The Bruno, Russell, Flynn remain for Austin on the bench. Chet as well as Abarca. Flynn, the backup keeper. Should get a whistle. It does. As we have now played 1 full hour into the 61st minute here on this Sunday. Appreciate you hanging with us, with the rest of our team. Here at Parmer, I'm Drew Casey. Thanks for joining us. 2 goals for Austin in the first 25 minutes. St. Louis has cut into it here in the second. They've been on the front foot since. Flags up here. Offside. So we told you that there can be no movement in the table between these two, despite being number 2 and 3. That's because there's a 4-point difference coming into today. 23 for St. Louis, 6-1-3. 2-1 in those 3 shootouts for additional points. Austin, 5-1-3. 19 points. 1-2 in their 3 shootouts, but also 1 match at hand. From the Austin perspective, so they will be, if this result holds, just 1 point back, but 1 additional match to play. And a result there would match the point total. Always slightly unbalanced, but it all balances out by the time we get to decision day. Feels like a mile away, but it's getting ever closer. 2+ months into the season. That one hit on the way through off a defender and nearly a fortunate hop. Those are always anxious moments after that contact made. Does result in a corner again. Over 10 for St. Louis, number 11 by our count here. Wind continues to whip. You can see the protective netting playing a role. On the mark. Second ball! Off the woodwork. Looking for the aggressiveness, the creativity, but that's dangerous. And so dangerous, in fact, that it elicits a yellow card. There's a lot going on here. Corner, driven on purpose there with distance. Great touch off the bar. But then, can't ride a bike like that. It's not allowed. Yellow card. And training staff coming out. Patrick McDonald was looking for his third goal of the season. And he went for it. You can certainly say that. But ill-advised when it results in what we see here. And training staff is out. And some additional personnel also coming out to take a look. But that's good news to a seated position here in the 64th minute. And now to the feet. Love to see that. And walking with relatively normal gait. So great to see there overall. And again, part of the off-field treatment rule, one of the exceptions. It is an offense that is a card, does not apply. That's what we had there. Looks like we'll be 11 v 11. Just procedural in a moment. And immediately wave back on. So third player for St. Louis who's shown a yellow card. Possession share since about the 25 minute mark, really since the second goal for Austin. In favor of visiting St. Louis. I'd peg it at about 60-40 from that mark on. And they've done well with it. 10 plus corners. No set piece strikes, getting one in the run of play. Back in the 51st minute. St. Louis coming out of the halftime break like a house of fire, and Ota cashed in. Austin looking to answer. They haven't had much in the second. Debrevich thought about walking it in. One of a trio of subs made by manager Jason Sackle. A little more than 10 minutes ago of game time. And at this point, limited movement in both bench areas. As I say that, though, see a little movement emerging for St. Louis. To the point of the game where you think about how you might employ your remaining weapons. And, of course, we all know ties after 90 right to the shootout for the second point here in MLS Next Pro. Given the way this started, I think St. Louis at the break would say, absolutely, we would love to get to that point at 2-2. Even if it's 3-3. A lot of body contact there. That's going to elicit a whistle. Clear foul against Saul. And let's see here. Saul and Paris. It's been a point of emphasis throughout the year. And not ready to go yet. Play was blown dead. Here's the whistle to restart it. Big challenge just outside the center circle. Told you about that movement for St. Louis just in front of their technical area, bench area. It looks like it is Gabedahan getting set. So we will see Adeteye at the next opportunity, which looks like it might come very soon. Looks like the paper has been handed from the staff over to the fourth official. We'll wait on that officially, but it does appear that another change is coming for St. Louis. And Adeteye Gabedahan. We have here yellow card. Sydney Paris. Getting behind Paris was the second runner, but the on-ball man, Irvin Torres, shifted on by. So there's the caution for Paris. Also the change for St. Louis. And it will be Stone Marion to leave. So one of the St. Louis players on a yellow exits. And Gabedahan comes on. '70th minute. Everything getting set. Kaeli, one of two, lined over it for Austin. He raises his two hands and takes the left-footed set piece. Sails a bit. Evan Watt tracks it down, keeps it alive momentarily. Chips it through three, keeps it for a little bit further. Keenan Hott was near. It'll end up all the way back with the Austin keeper. This portion of the match is brought to you by Austin Energy, official partner of Austin FC2. '71st minute, Austin 2, St. Louis 1. Two of the top teams in the Western Conference doing battle. This is a good ball on the reverse. In fact, it's too good. Too much on it, in fact, from Debrevich. The idea and thought, excellent. Long distance on that throw. St. Louis defensively. There's Kaeli. Developing well. Debrivich's cross. Defensive head. Second one. Composure to keep. Referee Edison Carvajal went down. He pops back up. The crowd might be enjoying it a little too much. Most of the cautions have come out in a way the home faithful should appreciate. Looks no worse for wear. This one kept along the near touchline. Stays onside. Torres, save made, rebound is in! Austin FC 2. It's buried. Keenan Hott on the doorstep. 3-1 Austin here in the 73rd as we roll. It's a great first ball to jumpstart things here. And then it's an easy finish after the big save made. Perfect spot to be. and not going to be missed very often, if ever. And Hop, the Lincroft, New Jersey native, 3-1. So all the work St. Louis did put together for really close to 45 minutes when you think about it, from the mid-20s to the mid-60s. Same situation, down 2. Second of the season for Hot. 5 of his 8 shots on target coming into tonight. Up that a little bit. And now Austin, another 3-goal performance. The 3-match win streak. 3-0 win in there, 2-0 the last time out against Colorado on Wednesday, and that was on the road. Some travel as well involved. Big challenge here. Blown dead. So Feliciano, Alistway, and Hot, the goal scorers. For Austin, of course. And that is now 7 goals conceded for St. Louis in the last 2. A squad that prior to last week against Houston had allowed 8 goals in its first 9 matches. And nearly matching that. One more for Austin Wood match, another 8-2. It's 7-2. And St. Louis in danger of dropping its second straight. Also second overall here in match week 11. Almost halfway through the season, in fact. Both teams have now made 3 changes. Looks like another St. Louis one coming. At the next opportunity, might be Junt. This portion of the match is brought to you by Woom, official partner of Austin FC2. Does look like that change was just made. Junt comes on. And St. Louis looking for something. Starting to see the clock start with a 7, soon to be an 8. Down 2. Tough hill to climb, that is. But remember, a squad that is top 5 in the league in scoring, right on number 5, entering the match week. 21 goals, more than 2 on average per contest. 1 so far, they need to get to at least 3 for a result of some kind. Starts with 1. Left-footed ball. Nice move to get free and even allow that send. Headed back, so hands fine. Feliciano Alistway in the first half. Ota 2-1. St. Louis down, then Cannon hot. Able to knock it in. A nice save made. But it had to be made. Not quite a tap in, but pretty close to one for Hot. Austin ahead here. Flag stays down. And into the back of the net. That's another one. Austin FC2. Broken play for St. Louis. And it is now 4-1. Getting the use of the goal song and then some. Dubrivich on as a second half sub. He's had some good opportunities. And this one he cashes in. So that is now 4 goals conceded in consecutive matches for St. Louis City 2. Again, 8 total goals conceded in the first 9 matches. And now 8 in the last 2. And we're not done here yet. But the hill got even taller to climb. 4th different goal scorer. And now Austin's going to make a change. Micah Burton will come off. And Diego Abarca will check in. One goal for Abarca on the season. Get the sense this could be a situation where St. Louis, if they're going to have any shot, they really have to run for it now. That could turn into another breakout. We just saw from Dubrivich a moment ago to more than likely put this one on ice. Austin just rolling. Unbeaten in 8 straight. They've only played 9. Lost the opener to Minnesota. The only true blemish. Carlson immediately sent out. A disappointing season last year. Pretty much even around the entire record. 10-10-8. Finished the year on 41 points, which was tied for the 8th most points in the conference, but lost the tiebreaker, which the first one is true wins in regulation. One less than Ventura County, who got that 8th spot. About Austin, though, what a sensational start to the tenure of the club in MLS Next Pro. Year 1 was just sensational. Remember a postseason game, Kansas City, pretty well a number of years ago. 2026 Austin FC2 side looking for an exclamation point. Wouldn't have counted, though. Flag came up. Nice run from Torres. And now a player down that is Torres, who hopped down to the turf. And he is asking for a substitute, it appears. And he's asking for the training staff. So you got Russell remaining. And you have Chat remaining. The only 2 field players remaining on the Austin bench. You have Liam Flynn, the goalkeeper, too. Let's mention that. And you do have De Bruyne as well. So 4 total, 3 field players. So it looks like it'll be Russell who's going to come on here and replace Torres, who made that run, jump-started the chance, and it seems as if he started to trot back and got some ground covered and then just went down. Hope it's just a cramp for the first teamer. So he will exit. He will be subbed off. So it is Russell, Marcel Russell. And for Torres, and that is 5 changes made by Austin. 3-goal lead, 84th minute. We will have some stoppage. Will this stay in? Yes, it will. The Brevic already a goal. Supporter section loves him. Player down. Lost his footing. Brevic tries to win it back. Nearly does. If you thought the wind left us, not the case. Been a part of this one throughout, but it has not been the difference. Foul there got a little weird. McDonald wanted to go quickly, but he was still on the ground and had the ball between his mitts. Austin up 3. St. Louis looking to make it 2, and it will be a goal kick here. Sent clean wide. This portion of the match tonight is brought to you by St. David's Healthcare, official and exclusive healthcare partner of Austin FC2. So Austin next up will go to Kansas City for a Friday matchup. 7 Central Time kick there. And then, the next weekend, Idle. So they get the Friday of Memorial Day weekend to play. Then the weekend that follows. And Friday matchup's going to conclude 4 matches in 13 days. So far, and if this holds, it'll be 3 for 3. Larger stretch, it's 4 in a row. Results of wins. For those individual displays of talent here, the supporters, that is. Got a large lead. Clock well in your favor. No reason to leave early when your side has been comprehensive against the team second in the table, and a week ago hadn't lost yet. It's going to be 2 straight, though, it appears, for St. Louis. Full week between matchups for St. Louis. They go next Sunday. Big trip across the country all the way west. Los Angeles, LAFC2. 3 Central Time there. This one's loose. Look out. Multiple players calling for it. Works its way And Debrevich gave it a rip. He was one that had both of his hands up as the rush developed. Came to him off the deflection. And sent it wide. See those two big hands. Got it. And then just not much to shoot at. For St. Louis week that follows, they will host North Texas. Sunday at LA. FC2, that is. 3 Central next time at Energizer. Saturday, May 30th against North Texas. 4 Central time for that start. St. Louis looking for one final moment to perhaps head home on, thinking about a loss at 4-2 sounds a bit better than 4-1 in the 89th minute. Inside the box, CITY2. Nearly taken down. Shoulder, trying to win it back, and doing so. Chip back. Aerial fight. And out of immediate danger. Ticking towards stoppage time here. Inside, look out! Save made. First time that we mentioned Lauta's name in the second half comes in the dying seconds before stoppage. He's had a strong night. 4 minutes of second half stoppage time. Little confusion, a lot of confusion for St. Louis on this throw. Looks like 3-4 guys want to take it. And through all of that, it will eventually turn to a goal kick. Couple whistles. Slow things down here. St. Louis wants to go quickly again, looking for that moment. Probably out of time for 3, even if it was an absolute perfect creation. Riley Lynch had a strong sequence of a few plays consecutively earlier in the game. Another corner kick for St. Louis, but first in a while, and going to send just about everybody forward. Nine within the frame here. Quick corner through. And immediately sent out. So, moment of adversity after last week's 4-1 defeat to Houston, the number 1 team in the West. And it appears it will be another against the number 3 side, Austin. well into double figures in the corner department. Just moving quickly. Immediately sent out on the low driver. Next corner, third of 3 in a row. Sent out over the top. It's the goalkeeper, Welsh. Drop back. Opportunity. It's blocked. Great defensive work to keep it at 1 conceded for Austin. Evan Watt, Barry in the middle. Another corner kick here. Quick spurt of 4 of those here in stoppage time. Had one of those earlier, too, where we got to 5 or 6 in a 3-minute stretch. Exited out. Austin's done a great job defending set pieces. The 1 goal from Ota on the run of play. So had a couple of racks at it. And there's the final whistle. Really impressive effort from the home side. Austin FC2 puts up 4. They got it going from the jump with Feliciano in the 6th. Alistaway in the 19th. 2-0 at the break. Ota scored early. St. Louis on the front foot, but then game put away in the 70s. Goals from Hott and Debrevich. And Austin will move within just 1 point of second position in the West. And St. Louis drops its 2nd consecutive. Time now for tonight's Man of the Match, presented by Adidas. We, of course, are going the Austin way, and we're going with the goal that really sealed it. Second half substitute. It's going to be Hott who cashes in, but it's all in the build-up here. Torres does a lot of the work, and then Hott, bang. Nothing City 2 keeper Colin Welsh could do. That strike made it again 3-1 in the 72nd minute. And that was all that Austin needed on a big-time win. Austin FC 2 over St. Louis City 2. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Drew Casey. Once again, the final, Austin 4, St. Louis 1. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.